Who's next to go? I check the line. Who's next to go?
Bondzee Live, Trippin With Bondzee on YouTube.
The sea walk. Again, incredible. Keep it gangsta, dog. Keep it gangsta. 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 I wanna thank you all. I wanna thank you. I wanna thank you all. I wanna thank you. Keep it gangsta, dog. Keep it gangsta.
Absolutely feeling that guy's vibe. Check my boy out. He is got it going on. You feeling that guy? I was totally feeling it. Just his feet were going. He was going. The vibes are positive. I love it. You know what I love? You too. And you and you and you also. It's Bondzee Live, Trippin With Bondzee. Holy macro. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. It's episode 264. 3.5 years of this stupid show. As Sarge would say, Gregory Scott, I really am sorry for saying that your show's stupid, but it was at first. You've got to admit. Yeah, I know, Mom. I would totally admit it was a bit of a gong show. Yes, but and then I've told you a million times, and I will tell you a million more. Will you please stop bloody swearing on your show? There's absolutely no need for it, Gregory Scott, and I just won't stand for it. I think you could be on like the CNNs, like, or the big networks if you just wouldn't say those stupid swear words. I didn't raise you like that, Gregory Scott, so I don't know why you got to swear. I know, Mom. I know. I don't fucking know either, but sometimes I just feel the need to swear. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it goes. It's all good, baby. Listen, Sarge is the best. God bless her. I love her with all my heart. She does get really upset when I swear on my shows. And listen, I will try to get through this show tonight for Sarge without saying the least amount of F words possible. Can I do it? I don't know. Stay tuned. Buckle up and find out. Well, we got a hell of a show lined up for you tonight. I don't know if you heard the rumor or not, but I talked to dead people. You say, what? Come on now. Say, what, Bonds? What? Have you done lost it? No, I haven't. I'm okay. Like, look at me. I blink twice if you're okay, Bonds. I blinked twice, okay? We're good. But I did. Listen, I'm a super skeptic of all this bullshit and mediums. I get all these people. And listen, to each their own. I will explain to you what happened this weekend. It was a gift from dear friends of mine. I got to speak to dead people, and we'll get into it shortly. After all the hoopla and the stuff. Listen, it's real and raw, and I'm going to try. Disclaimer, I'm going to try and do my best to honor what happened this weekend. That changed my life, and it changed my life for sure. And I hope I can talk about it. And if I can, that's okay too. And we'll talk about it another time. And I still got a plethora of other stuff to get to, including my guest tonight, Alan Dalton. He's in the green room. I'm staring at him right now. Handsome, sexy mofo. This guy's musical knowledge is off the charts. He's got a wonderful YouTube channel. It's called the 80s 90s. It's a really long title. I'm gonna yell at him about this actually, but here it is. You figure it out. It's the 80s 90s musical channel and more, eh? Listen, it really is wonderful. Has spoken to some amazing Canadian musicians. He's a wonderful lad, and I'm really looking forward to talking to him. And we're going to talk about the new Much Music VJ documentary that has just come out. And listen, we all grew up on Much Music, the MTV back in the day when it was all cool and shit, and they made the coolest videos, and we got to watch videos all day long incessantly. And now, not so much. Anyways, we're going to delve into that as well. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. Speaking about the documentary, the Much Music documentary, huge announcement. Here we go. And I mean, it's huge to me because I grew up loving and listening to this kid right from the get-go, and I idolized him and lived vicariously through him. His name's Rick Campanelli, and old Ricky Baby's going to be on the show next Wednesday. I cannot wait to talk to Rick Campanelli. He's right up there with Alan Cross. His knowledge of music, his love of music, the life that Rick Campanelli has lived. He started as an intern, by golly gee, and he ended up being one of the coolest, most awesomest VJs that Much Music has ever seen. Well, guess what? He's going to be talking with Bondzarelli, yours truly, next week, and I cannot wait. See, Sarge? I did it. I saved one for you. I was going to say F and wait, and I did it. All right. I will briefly delve into what happened this weekend. As I mentioned, we'll also going to talk about this port. Can you imagine? Like most of my friends have kids. I have kids. They're older now, but I got friends that have kids that are under the age of, let's say 15 even. Could you imagine watching your poor son or daughter under the age of 15 being arrested by some asshole fucking cops? Sorry, Sarge, I got to swear on this one. Cops, because your son or daughter peed in public? Happened, Mississippi. And boy, oh boy, I'm coming for you, Mississippi cops. You are about to get a tongue lashing from Bondzee that you've never seen coming. And boy, oh boy, you deserve it. We are going to shame those mofos. All right. And grocery store etiquette. Listen, I ranted and raved about the buying the chicken. If you remember a few shows ago, you buy that chicken, the barbecue chicken is wonderful stuff. Quite frankly is. But can you put it in some packaging that stays together? That was my rant a couple weeks ago. Now I'm going to go off on another rant about grocery store etiquette in line. And I hope the lady, and probably she's not, because she's not cool enough to listen to my show. But I'll tell you one thing. That bitch is lucky that I was in a good mood that day. You wait until I go on this rant, okay? If I can't talk about the stuff that happened this weekend because I'll be crying like a baby and it was pretty heavy and emotional, yeah, because, listen, I talked to a dead person that I saw get hit and killed by a train in 2009, so it's pretty heavy and it's pretty personal. And if I can't get through that, then I'm going to go on a rant and I'm going to tear the strip off a couple people, including the Mississippi police and this bitch at the grocery store. So buckle up. I've got a hell of a show coming up for you. My sponsors, I still can't believe they're here, but by golly gee, they are. Scramble Clothing, folks. Make sure you go to their website, www.scrambleclothing, that's scramble with a K.com, and make sure you check out their wares. I'm telling you, they got some sick stuff. Whether you love golf, whether you love the beach, whether you love the ocean, fishing, surfing, they have it all. Women's, kids, men's. Go check it out. It's seasonal. It's every season. They've got clothing for you and you too. And you got to go check them out. God damn, I love this company. I'm repping one of their hats right now. It's Scramble Clothing, Scramble with a K. Go get it. They love golf and the beach and surfing like I do. And you need to as well. All right. Shakespeare's Fine Dining, folks. Listen. If you love steak and you love seafood and lobster and shrimp and scallops like Sarge does, by golly gee, she loves them. This is her favorite place. You got to go to Shakespeare's Fine Dining. Oh, my God. This place is off the charts. Little lovely place, downtown Hamilton. The celebrities come from all over. They make the trip. They get in their little limousine and they tootly little whip their sexy little ass on up here to Hamilton to go to Shakespeare's Fine Dining, and you should too. But please, for the love of baby Jesus, make a reservation. It's not that hard. It's a pretty popular place. 905-528-0689 or www.shakespeares.ca. Go get it, all right? Woo! All right, take a deep breath. Have a sip of my now warm tea. One of these days, I'm going to get it right. You know what I need? I need like a little, not a kettle right here, but one of those things that you put your mug on, your jolly old coffee mug, and then it stays hot. Like a little mini hot plate, if you will. Because there's nothing worse than warm tea or coffee. And God bless the people that can drink iced coffee. Not for me. Anyways, I see some chirping going on in the comments here. Let's delve into that real quick. Okay, yes. I'm done. I'm done. Blue Jays, I'm fucking done with you. I'm done with baseball. I'm done. I've had it. I'll take it from the Toronto Maple Leafs until the day I die. But I am done being fisted, double-fisted, no lube, sandpaper finish by the Toronto Blue Jays. Fuck you. Sorry, Sarge, but fuck you, Jays. We have such a good team. We have such an amazing team with bats. We should be hitting the ball out of the park every shot. How many runs did we score in the playoffs this year? Oh, I know. 0.0. That's how many. How many games did we go out in the playoffs this year? That's right, 2. How many games did we go out in the playoffs last year? That's right, 2. How many times am I sick and tired of being a fan of the Blue Jays and being let down season after season after season? I love baseball. I love it. I played it. I love it. I'm sick and tired of the Jays. You're not my Toronto Maple Leafs. I think I'm done with you. I think we're breaking up. It's going to be a smooth breakup. I'm not even going to take any of your calls. I'm not even going to watch any highlights. I don't care how many fucking great things you did this season, because quite frankly, I don't think you did anything great this season. I'm done. I'm done with you. Blue Jays, you suck. I'm fed up. Now, the Jays, the Leafs, let's go. You know what? It doesn't pay me to say this because I love this guy to death. I got to throw this up, and I got to talk about this really, really quick before I get carried away on another rant. But congratulations, a massive congratulations to my boy Steve Staios, childhood buddy, known him since grade 6. And I've got to follow his entire NHL career, all 1,001 games through 6 teams, I believe. And I loved each and every team he played for. I loved his career. He was so amazing. Then he had the opportunity to coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Then he took a leap of faith. And may I say, and I'm not speaking exactly in Steve's words, but sort of in his words, I'm paraphrasing, but this is pretty true. People told him in his inner circle that he loves and is close to that he was absolutely mental for taking the job that he was offered to lead the Toronto Maple Leafs and go and lead the Hamilton Bulldogs as the president and general manager to, not 1, but 2 OHL championships. You're welcome very much, Hamilton. And my boy Steve Staios finally got what he deserved. Huge congratulations. Once again, breaking news, hired. He is the president of hockey operations in Ottawa. And fuck me sideways, I hate Ottawa. Hated them. They're the Leafs rivals, probably up there, not quite with the Montreal Canadiens because they haven't been around as long, but by golly gee, there's a rival there. And now I have a second favorite team as not the Edmonton Oilers anymore. It's bye-bye Oilers and bye-bye Wade and you clowns out there in the West. But let's go Ottawa. Words I never thought would come out of my mouth, but huge congrats to a childhood buddy. I mean, who gets to do that? Steve Staios did, and quite frankly, they're lucky to have him. I think Edmonton blew it. And listen, they didn't blow it. I understand you have Ken Holland. He's one of the best and greatest general managers and stuff of all time. So Steve definitely learned under the greatest tutelage, playing there 8 years. I believe he played there. Almost won a Stanley Cup with the guys. Lost in Game 7 to, I believe, Anaheim. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wade. I know you're a huge Oilers fan, and I know Stone's listening too. But I think, Steve, I know he lost in Game 7, and I think it was to the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. One of the biggest devastations of his life. But listen, it's come full circle, and I think I don't think I know under Steve's tutelage and under his name escapes me. Anderson, not Anderson. It's anyways, the new owner of the Ottawa Senators, they are going to win a Stanley Cup together. I hope it's after the Leafs. I really do. Because it will pain me to cheer for Ottawa winning the cup first, but I would be super happy for my buddy Steve. But seriously, can we just let the Leafs win first? I think it's going to be this year. I know we say it every year, but I'm going to say it again because one of these years I'm going to be right, and then I can say, I fucking told you so. I told you so. Anyways, we'll see what happens. Huge congrats to Steve, and moving on. It should be an amazing hockey season. It's going to be an amazing football season, too. My God, I'm getting off topic here. I don't want to delve into the NFL, but right out of the gate, can we talk about the NFL for a minute? Holy mackerel. The parity is amazing across the league. I'm really looking forward to the season. And I was okay with the Kelsey, Travis Kelsey, and the, what's her name? I can't believe it. Taylor Swift. Have we had enough already? I was sort of into it. I think it's great for everybody involved. It's great publicity, blah, 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 blah. But can we have, it's enough. It's enough, right? Can we all agree on that? Thank you. Okay, moving on. What else? Go to Shakespeare's Fine Dining, I think is where I was going with that rant. Okay, anyways, here we go. I'm going to briefly, my boy's waiting in the green room. I love him to pieces, but I have to get this out of the way first and foremost. I got to talk about this weekend. Here I go. I'll do the best to get through this. I manifested that I would get through this, and true disclaimer, I might just have to jump right into Alan if I can't get through it. But what happened this weekend is above and beyond anything that I could have ever imagined. So, Cole's notes. I was going to see friends up in the Bruce Peninsula, almost at as far as you can go. Tobermory, I think, is a tip, and then you can go over to Manitoulin and Islands. Well, I was way the hell up there on Lake Huron, and I've been there many times. I've always had amazing times there, but this time was super special. It was a full moon. These people invited me up to celebrate my 50th birthday, and they also brought me up for another special reason. This friend of mine, and I'm going to keep their names private. I didn't ask to use their name, and I was going to text and ask them, and I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to keep it private, and because that's the way I want it to be. And I'm super thankful for these people. I met them in Nicaragua in 2017, and it's weird how shit works out. But a couple of years ago, her son sadly and tragically passed away at 25 years old. And she found some peace and solace in a medium. Somebody that talks to dead people. And listen, from the day I was fucking born, for some reason, I wanted and didn't believe in this hogwash. It was hocus pocus to me. I wanted nothing to do with it. Now, at one point in my life, I went to Disney World with my ex-wife and kids, and they went and did something with a medium, and I fucked off. I wanted nothing to do with it. Anyways, this wonderful human being for my 50th birthday wanted to gift me a chat with a medium to, I guess, talk to Pat first and foremost, and just get some, just talk to him because I miss him so much. I've never had a closer friend die, and listen, I said yes. I wasn't happy about it. I was scared. I was scared because I didn't believe. I didn't want it to be bullshit. I didn't want hocus pocus. I don't want some lady sitting there trying so hard to pretend that she's talking to my buddy Pat, and it's going to be so real. And I was like, so whatever. Okay, I'll give it a go. So Friday night, I got there Friday. I went and saw Pat Friday morning at his grave. I'm so glad I did. Super emotional. But it was amazing, and I had a great chat with him. And I told him, I said, "Well, bro, apparently I'm coming to see you." There's me at the gravesite. And listen, I got to bring this up real quick. Quick side note to the motherfucker. From the time I was there on Friday till Sunday at some point midday, when a lovely lady went to see and visit my boy Pat. Somebody has stolen everything you see in that picture, besides the tombstone itself, is gone. I'm not sure why somebody would do that. I'm devastated. How dare they? If I find out who you are, we'll just leave it at that. How dare you? Anyways, I went and had a great chat with my boy, and I told him I was coming to speak to him. And I was scared because I'd never done this before and I didn't believe. Well, on Saturday at noon, 5 minutes into a conversation with this lovely lady, Pat was there. And you would say, and you may ask, how do you know, Bonds? How do you know it was Pat? I'll tell you how I know. This lady took on Pat's persona like I've never seen anything in my life. It was right out of a movie. She started talking like Pat. She started acting like Pat. She started waving her hands around like Pat and started speaking really fast like Pat and started swearing like Pat. And I was talking to Pat. And Pat brought up shit. I don't even know how to say it. Pat, brought up shit that only Pat and I know. And I went from massive skeptic to automatic, holy motherfucker of Christ, I'm talking to my boy Pat. Now listen, I don't for 1 second care. I don't. If you believe me or you don't. Go find out for yourself if you don't believe me. And if you do, great. And listen, I'll just tell you this. It was life-changing. Because not only did this lady who Pat spoke through and she acted like, she brought up stuff that only Pat and I would know. It was super emotional. It was pretty traumatic, actually. Like, just, it was Pat. And I don't know where to go with this. I'm just gonna say that I was blown away by this lady's actions and her words, and holy fuck, I talked to the dead. And then I got to talk to Warren. And I'll preface the story real quick. For those who don't know, in 2009, I witnessed a 22-year-old kid get hit and killed by a train outside of the Kitabala at about midnight on August 31st, 2009. And it's an event that changed my life forever. And most of it's been for the worse, to be honest with you. I lost a marriage over it. I've lost subsequent relationships over it. It's been traumatic for me for the past 14 years, and I've never fucking properly dealt with it. And for whatever reason, Warren came to me in this sit down, and I got to have a wonderful chat with a man that I sadly couldn't save that night in Bala. So Cole's notes, I was in bed. I got out of bed. I walked to town 7 minutes away to the Kitabala, and subsequently walked up the street right outside the Kitabala. So if you don't know where at the Kitabala, it's the bar. It's huge. It faces this way. You're standing there. Then there's the road, and then there's the railroad tracks. They're right there, and there's not much room. And when I walked up that street that night to just wander out of bed, I saw this kid sitting there. 2 Mississippis later, he was gone. And he was smoked by a train, and I found him 9 minutes later. I never forget myself for being 2 Mississippis too late to save that kid, because I would have saved him. And this is the first time and the longest I've gone without talking about this without crying. And I manifested this tonight, and I wanted to get through this tonight. I want to share this with you because I think it's super important. That poor kid did not want to die that night, and I didn't want to see him die. And sadly, I did. And his number was up, and his name's Warren. And I fucking love you, Warren. And I'm sorry I wasn't there a minute earlier. I would have saved you, bro. And thank you for the chat. I know you forgive me. I know it wasn't my fault. And it is the biggest closure I have had in 14 years of talking to you on Saturday afternoon. And God damn it, I'm so happy you're happy. And I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there. And I'm super thankful you forgive me. And man, oh man, I woke up Sunday morning, Warren and everybody, feeling this massive, massive relief off my chest that I've never, ever felt since watching that poor kid die that night. He did not want to commit suicide. He did not want to die. And I got to tell his family that he didn't commit suicide that night. He was just in an unfortunate circumstance in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I was a minute too late. 2 Mississippis too late. And now he's forgiven me, and I forgive him. And I will move on from this. For the first time in my life, I can honestly say I feel closure. And I've never been able to say that in 14 years. So it's pretty powerful. And to cap it all off, I just got to talk to Patty again and say goodbye, and I'm going to help him. And he's going to help me. And I've never felt better in my whole entire life than these past few days. And I'm super stoked that I got to get through this conversation without breaking down for 1 second. And guess what? I'm not, because I'm super lucky to have Pat in my life. I was super lucky to be his best friend, and I was super lucky to be there for him. And I was super lucky to be there for Warren, even though it changed my life and it cost me so much things in my life. It cost me so many things. But I got to let Warren go in peace, and I got to let his family know that he never committed suicide. And for that, I'll be forever grateful and thankful. And I think from here on out, my life is going to be even better than it was because I've flushed it out and I've let it go. Because I've struggled. And boy, oh boy, I didn't want to fucking be here for so long. I wanted to go join Warren and say sorry in person. I wanted to go see Pat and say sorry that I couldn't help you. I don't have to say sorry anymore. I never do. They know it wasn't my fault. And I'm going to forever live in peace from here on out until the day I die. And fuck yeah. Whew. I did it. So rest in peace, Pat. Rest in peace, Warren. And I'm super, super, super thankful for the people that had me up at their cottage this weekend and allowed me to. I found it. I found it. I found it. I found peace. Finally. I can say that tonight. I found it. Hey, bro. Sorry to bring you on it. Crazy sort of opening, but without further ado, folks, I think we can just jump right into it. It's my boy, Alan Dalton. I'm super proud to be your friend. I love having you back on the show, and thanks for being here. How are you?
Yeah, anytime, man. That's heavy stuff. It gives you a lot to think about, man.
But I did it. I did it, and I'm super thankful to have you on. You've got a great YouTube channel. It's Canadian music from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and now it's just a love of music that you have, Alan, and I think it's sort of what brought us together in the beginning through mutual friends of Sean Strudd and your love of music, my love of music, and now look at us. We're between you and me. I think we've talked to a lot of amazing Canadian musicians over the past year or so, haven't we?
Yeah, it's more than I ever anticipated. That's for sure. I wasn't expecting to get anyone to say yes to a chat with me, but and I'm willing to chat with anyone. I don't care how big a name they are. Anyone who's got a passion for music, as much as I do, even if no one's heard of them, I don't care. I'll chat with them. I don't care who it is. It's like I said, it's something I'm passionate about. And who knows where it's going to go, but hey, I'm talking to you about it.
That's just it, right? I mean, we don't know where this is going to go, but we are thankful for the opportunity that we sort of get. I mean, listen, in the grand scheme of things, if you think about it, Alan, there are 7 billion people on this planet, and for some crazy reason along the line, and with our love of music, you and I have gotten to speak to some musicians and people that we love and respect from little kids, and now we're chatting with them on our show like it was no big deal. Pretty weird, right?
It is pretty weird, actually. It's funny to actually sit down and talk to these people that you'd never ever thought you'd meet in a million years, or even get a chance to say hello to. Some of them I even got a chance to see them live because I was never old enough to get into a bar or something like that. You know, all the places I wanted to see them had a 19 plus rule about getting in. So, but yeah, now here you are. Not only have I seen some of these guys live, I've gotten to chat with them in person. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So in the grand scheme of things, Alan, what inspired you to start your own YouTube channel and get to just throw it out there and go, wow, I love music, and how do I get to talk to these guys? What was there something that just clicked and you said, fuck it, I'm going to do it? Walk us through that.
Well, it started with a fellow I met a few years ago. I know you're not a fan through our love of Stompin' Tom Connors.
Listen, it's not that I'm not a fan, Buster. You're throwing me under the bus here a little bit. I never really listened to him, but I did not hate his music.
Okay. All right, that's cool. But anyway, this fellow and I he started a Stompin' Tom fan club on Facebook, and I run it with two other guys. That was actually taken at a Stompin' Tom birthday party, actually. This band I got to know throws a birthday party for him. They used to get invited to his house on his birthday every year, and after he died, they just kept the party going. Anyway, this guy John asked me to join the group, and he's made me a co-administrator, and the other guy's from Vancouver, so we're across the country now. We got a guy in BC, we got a guy in Ontario, we got me out here in PEI. So anyway, I decided if I'm going to be involved in this, I want to start contributing something to it. Yeah. So I knew some guys that played in Tom's band, so I started doing some interviews with them. And just anyone that had something to do or had a story to tell about Tom, because the whole thing was to keep his memory alive and his music going. So then I thought, why can't I do this for myself? I can not just do Stompin' Tom stuff, but everything I've ever wanted to do. So I started a Facebook group of my own, flagged down as many interviews as I could. For every 20 people I messaged, I think maybe one or two said yes, but you keep trying, right?
That's how it goes.
And then I said, let's put this on YouTube, because then at least you can just share the link with people and they can share your link. And it just kind of been growing from there. And if I ever learn how to edit properly, watch out, you're going to see some cool stuff on there.
Well, you'll get there. So you've been at this for a minute now. Like it's still, the ball's rolling, and you've had some amazing guests. What's been your favorite one to date?
There's too many to mention.
Stands out?
There's a couple that really stand out. I've done a couple of interviews with Blair Packham. He used to be the singer for the Jitters.
Okay.
He's doing his own thing now. This is the other thing I want to mention is some of these artists that I've interviewed, they may not seem like they're busy now, but they're still doing stuff today. And some of the stuff they're doing now is as good as anything they did back in the 80s or 90s. And that's the amazing part that I'm finding. Like I interviewed Lori Yates a couple of weeks ago. And while she isn't in the limelight like she used to be, she's making some of her best music now.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm finding really amazing as I'm discovering these artists again. Like it's nice to see what they're doing now and that they're still busy at it. You know, that's the cool thing.
What's your take from that, Alan? Because I mean, it is a wonderful, beautiful thing that these musicians started so long ago. And I will use, for example, Gordon Depp, the Spoons.
Right.
Now he's with the Flock of Seagulls. He was making music when I was in grade 7 and 8, and I went to see him. I've mentioned this on my show before, and I think when you had me on as a guest on your show, I mentioned that I saw the Spoons when I was in grade 8 at Westdale High School. And to this day, Gordon is still making amazing music, and he's relevant and he's out there. And he may never be that super popular guy, but he's still making awesome music, and that's his job, and that's a pretty cool job. So it's got to be a pretty cool vibe to talk to these people and get that feeling from them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's obvious that they still love what they did and love what they do still, because they're still doing it. I even talked to Rob Pruce, who played keyboards with the Spoons and moved on to Honeymoon Suite, and he's still busy doing what he does. You know what I mean? Like, and again, that's an amazing thing. They're still passionate about what they do. They're still, they're still at it. And it seems like they're kind of going with, like, the new technology has obviously changed the way music gets to people, and they've jumped right on board, and they're, flowing along with it. They're doing it despite all the changes, which is the great thing. They came on board at a time where music was really changing, when videos started being the thing you had to do to be in the business, and they're still doing, they're using the technology today to keep up with it, which is, it's good to see that they're not doing nothing,
Well, isn't it funny, Alan, how times have changed? Because back in the day, it was the thing to put out music, and you had to put out like a kick-ass music video to go on Much Music and MTV, which we're going to jump into that in a second. because it really did shape music and how bands put out music and the videos and the thought that went into these videos to be played on Much Music. Like, it was the hugest thing. And now it has done a fucking full 180, Alan, where it's gives a fuck about putting out a video and stuff anymore. It's not even the thing. But what the thing is social media and blasting on social media and being interactive with the fans. Isn't it funny how some of the people, and again, I will use Alan full circle, he never ever had to worry about talking to fans or being fan available back in the day. But now he had to be relevant in 2023, even though he was a musician in 1980. He has to totally change his perspective of how he releases music and how he deals with it, right?
Right. But the good thing is,
by the way, Wade, Romantic Traffic, one of the best tunes ever in my life to this day. Sorry to interrupt you. I hate to give away kudos, but I got to give him one there.
And a great video too. It was shot in the TTC
great
subway.
Video.
So, yeah. So, but yeah, it's the thing with the technology though is you seem to have more control over it, like how you do it, how you get it out, who you can talk to. Whereas like back in the 80s when you were under the control of a record company, you kind of had to play their game, a bit to a point. But now you can do all this yourself. Like, I mean, you get yourself a good laptop, get an internet connection, good Wi-Fi connection, you're off and running on your own. You're doing
and
stuff.
And a set of cojones, because it ain't easy.
Yeah. No, it's not easy, but that's another thing too. Like, I mean, look at us. I couldn't walk into a TV station 35 years ago and say, "Hey, can I have a show?" They're gonna go, "Get out of here. What experience do you have?" But now anyone can. It's a matter of what's going to catch. You know what I mean? It's what's going to catch someone's attention. I guess you got to find your niche, and hopefully someone enjoys the same thing you do. But you don't have you don't have to follow the rules anymore. You know what I mean? You don't have to follow the corporate rules anymore. You can do your own thing and do it the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
So that's a big advantage of it, by the way. By the way, to keep your coffee warm, you should get yourself a Yeti. A Yeti.
Well, listen, I don't have a bank account to afford a Yeti. That shit is expensive as hell, bro. Maybe I need to get them as a sponsor or something and pump their tires, because cripes.
You know what? They are expensive, but you know what? I never thought I'd spend that kind of money on a coffee mug, but I tell you, it keeps my tea warm all day.
Yeah.
It really does work. It really does work. But anyway,
I might have to bite the bullet. We'll see what happens. So all this talk music and love of music and stuff. I mean, you talk about mostly it's 80s and 90s, it was such a special era of music because it really did change from the 70s. The 80s was all about electronic. It was punkish. It was Duran Duran. It was some crazy shit if you think about the music that came out of the 80s and the hairstyle and the clothes. And then into the 90s, it rolled out of that and into that. Well, you had like 87, late 87 to 91-ish, early 91-ish was Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and those bands were killing it. But then all of a sudden it molded into grunge and Seattle scene. And it has been a crazy ride. I love your show. I love the YouTube channel. People have got to go check it out. Pump those tires, bro. Like, this is your new logo. You just made this. The YouTube channel is Canadian Music, 80s and 90s and more, eh? They were all out of the longer titles, I guess, or I'm just kidding, bro.
You didn't forget it though, did you?
I didn't forget it, of course. But no, I really do love it. I love your passion in music, and it is pretty special.
Well, the thing I loved about that era of music, like think about the year 1984. There was so many different styles of music dominating the radio. Like, I mean, you had Springsteen, Madonna, Prince, Huey Lewis and the News, all very different in their respects, but all chart-topping
Depeche
music.
Mode, Duran Duran,
Depeche
like you
Mode,
can,
Duran Duran, yeah,
yeah. Because I
It
spent
was
a lot of my childhood, Alan, sorry to cut you off, in
oh,
Europe, in England, because in the 80s and early 90s, my parents were from there, and I got to go there a lot as a child and spent a lot of summers there. And, I was sort of introduced to that music before it ever even came here. And,
right.
yeah, it was just some crazy times, but awesome musical times too, I think.
Yeah. But like I said, it was so different. Like all the music that was topping the chart, it was different creatively. And even
Culture
when the
Club,
music
there's another one.
when the music videos started, everybody got a visual of what it was all about too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Culture Club was huge on that too. Duran Duran's
Dude.
videos were just everywhere.
Nottingham.
Springsteen started making videos. Like everybody was making a video. You got to see what they look like, and which was different from the 70s when you were just seeing
Yeah,
what they looked
because
like
they
on the
never
album
had
cover.
the internet. They didn't have any of that stuff, right?
Right.
So you never really got to know your band other than their music or going to see them live. That's all you sort of knew. And the odd news article that came out if you subscribed to Rolling Stone or one of those old music magazines back in the day. It's pretty wild, eh?
Yeah. And then, maybe I'm doing your little segue for you, but then the Much Musics came into the picture.
Dude, I love you.
Canada got its own music channel. I believe it was 1984.
It was, yeah.
Actually, I have this sitting by. This is Christopher Ward's book.
Hold on. Put it up.
That's
There we go.
Christopher Ward wrote a book about the early days of Much.
Is this live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What
It's
a wonderful.
quite the
We
book.
all knew the address, didn't we? 299 Queen Street West.
Yes, we did.
And
Great.
and you could go down and sit in that booth, and remember, you could talk into it, and they would play those things live. It was religious. You come home from school and go and listen to goddamn Much Music. It was the thing to do. Yeah. It was the place to be. It was Much Music. It was all music all the time was their slogan. And dude, they really did have an amazing lineup of things. And now I got the photo up here. Let's talk about it. They're going on this incredible Much Music tour. There's a beautiful picture of all the old VJs. Isn't that something special right there?
Yeah, that was the first screening of the documentary. And they're taking the screenings across the country, and some of the VJs are going to all the screenings and doing a Q&A after the screenings, which I think is quite amazing to see them all together again, for starters. Because those are the guys that introduce you to some of your favorite music growing up.
Yeah, dude, it really was. Like, without Much Music, half of the people on this planet would have never known. Seeing Our Lady Peace with Naveed's video with the checkered floors and dude just pounding and there's so many other videos I could bring up, dude. It with Much Music was magical. It was the MTV sister Canadian, but the brotherhood, and it was special, wasn't it, dude? It was unbelievable.
But it brings me to all the Canadian bands they broke. There were some great radio stations that did too, like CFNY and Q107 and stuff with their homegrown contest every year. But they broke so many Canadian bands. I know they were legally obligated to play Canadian music, but they played anything. If you were a band on Queen Street and you got a video made, they'd play it. They'd play it, and it would be right in the mix with all the top hits of the day. And it didn't matter how big or small you were. Look at The Pursuit of Happiness. That video for I'm an Adult Now. They played the hell out of that. And it didn't even have a record out at the time, I don't think.
Yeah.
But that video got in heavy rotation on Much Music. They did so much to help Canadian artists back then. And they kind of made a superstar system out of the Canadian industry back then. Guys like Tom Cochrane, Jeff Healey, Colin James, the Spoons.
Tom Wilson from Junkhouse. Another
Tom Wilson, Hamilton's
for
own.
Sure, Hamilton band. Going to be coming on the show.
Daniel Lanois.
Shout out to Tom Wilson.
Daniel Lanois, Hamilton boy too, produces some of the biggest albums ever made. Peter Gabriel's So, U2's The Joshua Tree.
And not only that, Alan, they didn't just stick to oh, we're just going to play rock and roll videos. They played everything. They played hip hop. They had hip hop hour. They had this hour. They had that hour. Like they even like heavy metal hour. Like, okay, I wasn't always listening to the heavy metal hour, but sometimes you would just put it on to just see. But they really did cater to everybody. In my day, it was one of the greatest channels ever in my life of growing up as a child. And to this day, I'm thankful for them, right? Like they really were special.
Well, they did country too. They had a country channel, Outlaws and Heroes. Bill Welichka got that started. I mean, even French. Remember they had Music Plus? They Quebec had its own industry back then. And someone just said here, I've interviewed Bill Welichka. He's got a book coming out as well.
Yes, you did interview Bill, and I'm looking to get Bill on the show. And I think you were the one that sort of pushed me towards, well, you got to have Bill on, and I'm working towards that. And I've always been a big fan of Bill, and so that sort of leads me into my next question is, who did you have a favorite VJ growing up, Alan? Because there were so many cool ones, and so many different genres, and even if you didn't love that genre of music, they were still sort of cool. So was there somebody that stood out for you, or?
Well, there's many that did. Bill, I thought was great because you could tell he was into so many different kinds of music, which was, he's into like he did the country show at first. He's got a big taste for country music. He's got a big taste for the tragically hip and just, great music. But the guy that really got my attention was Christopher Ward at first. And then when I found out that he co-wrote Black Velvet with Alana Miles, I did no idea that these guys had that kind of connection to the industry outside of much music, which was something which I thought was incredible. I actually think Dan Gallagher co-wrote Digging a Hole with Big Sugar.
Is that right?
And I didn't know that either. So,
That's the way you do
yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't know the connections. These guys have connections outside of much music that were deeper than just playing videos. Like they knew these artists, they worked with them. And I think a lot of them came from radio as well. Like I recently talked to Michael Williams about the documentary and about his career, and he got started in radio too. So, and he's still working in music today too. Like because he's not on much music doesn't mean he's not busy, still doing things in industry, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. They keep doing their stuff.
For sure.
And I really can't wait for this. I think there's a Hamilton date on that Much Music documentary screening. I know they're coming here to Charlottetown. I've got my tickets. I'm very stoked to see this documentary and maybe get a question from one of the VJs.
That's pretty cool, dude. Listen, I hope you do too. It's pretty special that they're doing this. I'm excited. Like, listen, I told you, you were the first one I reached out to this morning when I found out that Rick Campanelli is going to be coming on the show next Wednesday. You heard it here first. Yes. He'll be on the show to talk about the whole documentary. So that's why I sort of haven't picked your brain exactly about the documentary. I know you've seen it. I have yet to see it. I haven't seen it. I thought you did. Oh, okay. So
I'll be seeing it in Charlottetown. Oh, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I hope you ask Rick if he's coming to Charlottetown because that'd be really cool. I don't know what VJs are coming to each screening. I think there's a Hamilton one. There's a Hamilton one on that list. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're going well across the country. Apparently, the first screening in Toronto went well. It went really well. It was like a red carpet thing, and they all had a get together after with all the VJs. And
that must have been a pretty wild time. I mean, Erica M, and I hate giving this guy shout outs and airtime, but Wade does bring up a good comment. Erica M was one of the hottest VJs back in the day. I mean, and not only her, and I got to give a shout out to my buddy Wally. One of these days, he is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. And Wally he's not your typical social dancey sort of guy, but you know where you go to a wedding, you take this guy to a wedding or anywhere, dancing and stuff, he will embarrass you and everybody in the bar. You know why? Because he skipped school and stayed home every day and watched Electric Circus on repeat and learned all the sexy dance moves and watched Erica M and fucking pounded his pud instead of going to school all day. But he can dance like a mofo, I'll tell you that, Alan.
Oh, that's great. But I'm just trying to think of all the great VJs. Like Michael Williams, obviously, was one of them. He played a lot of great stuff, and
Yeah.
Steve Anthony. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Denise Donlin. I mean, look at this
Good.
career she had. She started out. I think she used to be like a manager or a promoter for Doug and the Slugs before they got big.
Is that right?
And worked for and look where she
Oh.
went. She wound up being president of one of the biggest record companies in Canada.
Well, that whole system really did breed some amazing talent. Rick Campanelli, who is coming on the show, and we can joke about this till the day, and he probably still gets called this to this day, is Rick the Temp. He started as a fucking temp on Much Music and turned out to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, VJs on Much Music in the whole system. And probably to this day, one of the most successful, it's arguable, but Bill Welechka's up there, is doing radio up in Kingston now, has wonderful books and super musically gifted. But by golly gee, Rick the Temp. I mean, I'm not going to call him Rick the Temp on the show because he's probably sick and tired of hearing that. But to this day, it made Rick who he is and gave him this wonderful career that he has now.
But it also goes to show like just how revolutionary Much Music was back then, because they gave a guy like him a chance to do to prove what he could do. And even the whole, they were associated with City TV for so long. City TV used to get lambasted by industry people all the time because they did things different.
They did.
When they did the news, it wasn't some guy in a suit and tie and, sitting at a desk. They were sitting right out in the middle of, their ties were undone and they were reading the news from the office. And they had guys on the air that just wouldn't have cut it on like those big news networks. You know what I mean? That were different. You know what I mean? Like Harold Hussein, you remember him doing the weather?
Of course.
There's nobody on the air like him back then. Nobody. They wouldn't have dreamt of putting a guy like that on the air back in those days. But Much Music did. And
remember how big the Much Music Video Awards were on downtown streets? They would close the streets, Alan, and it would be fucking packed for blocks and blocks of people. And huge bands like the Spice Girls came. I mean, the biggest of the biggest bands came to downtown Toronto to be at Much Music. And it was, listen, we grew up on that, and I'm forever thankful to this day, and I'm sure you are too, because we're around the same age, of growing up in that era of Much Music, right, bro?
Yeah, and even those, you even had a chance to get close to some of your favorite artists, because I mean, you used to watch them being interviewed, and you could see them outside the window. The intimate and interactive.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, you remember the intimate and interactives they used to have.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And you could literally stand out the window and watch through the window. Like, it was unbelievable. There was no other station doing stuff like that.
One last question, Alan. Why and where the fuck did Much Music and MTV go? Why, where, and what happened to the love of putting on Much Music and MTV and watching music videos? Because it just doesn't exist anymore. And now it's all this hoopla bullshit. What do you call that? Not drama.
Reality.
Real
TV.
Life. What? Sorry.
Reality TV.
Reality. That's a word I was looking for. Why? Where did we go wrong, and why did it all switch?
Well, it's a double-edged sword in a way, because I think it was corporate took over. There wasn't an audience for it anymore. But the audience that is still there for it can access it a lot easier now, thanks to YouTube and the internet, which is good in a way. It's also a great way to discover your different artists now. Yeah, because you can go on the internet and say, I'm looking for a band that really reminds me of this, and you can find
but it was cool to have somebody tell you and explain to you, and they would interview the band, and they do that intimate and interactive, like you said, and it was so cool to watch The Hip, Our Lady Peace, the Tea Party back in the day, Finger 11, which was Rainbow Butt Monkeys, like so many amazing Canadian bands doing that, and now we just don't have it. We don't have that lovable person that introduces the band and interviews them intimate and interactive, and I miss it. And gosh, I wish we still had it.
Yeah, I do too. There's a lot of memories. You know, the memories flow strong when it's amazing the way songs and music can really trigger memories in your life.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because
sure.
you remember exactly where you were when you used to listen to it. Like for me, the Tragically Hip will always be long weekends in the summer.
For sure.
You know, sitting around a campfire, cranking up the newest Tragically Hip CD or whatnot. That's what the Tragically Hip always was for me. You know, and there's this. You hear a song, it just brings you back. It brings you back. Like I said, the great thing is, I think, is that you can go on the internet and find that stuff if you miss it. You know what I mean? You can go on YouTube and go Jeff Healey, Angel Eyes, and you can watch the video right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for it to be played. Which is good.
But it would be really better if I was introducing the song and making you laugh before you watched your favorite video or whatever. Just saying.
You would be a good VJ.
Listen, you know what? A true story, and I've never told this. There is a videotape that exists out there, Alan Dalton, that back in the day I lived vicariously through Rick Campanelli, and I wanted to be a Much Music VJ so bad. There is a videotape exists out there of me interviewing and doing a online edition and sent it to Much Music. So it exists out there. Maybe I'll ask Rick the temp if he can find it. And I don't even ever think I could play it. I would probably be horrified if I saw it to this day. But true story, it does exist.
One more thing. I want to get off topic a little bit. I'm a hockey nut. I'm a hockey nut as well.
Of course.
I wanted to say, big congrats to Steve Stais. Awesome.
Just amazing, right, bro?
And Edmonton lost to the Carolina Hurricanes that year in the Stanley Cup final, by the way.
Oh, it was the Hurricanes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It was the Hurricanes. Yeah. But nobody expected them to go that far that year. But I'm stoked that Steve Stais is going to be helping the Senators because look what he did with the Bulldogs in such a short time.
Time. 2 championships. Amazing run. His knowledge of hockey, his love of hockey, his passion of hockey, and his talent for finding that youth and molding them into wonderful hockey players is uncanny. It's too bad that he didn't get to stick with the Edmonton organization because I know they loved him. He played there the longest. I was a huge Edmonton fan because of Steve Stais. And now that he's gone, I know they wanted to keep him. They just couldn't. They knew when Andlauer bought Ottawa, it was a kiss of death. And Edmonton did lose a good guy, but Ottawa gained a superstar. And I wish Steve Stais nothing but the best. And thanks for the good wishes from my buddy.
Oh, yeah, anytime. Like, I'd met him I did some work for the OHL, you know that.
Yep.
Whenever the Bulldogs came to Mississauga.
I have a picture of right here. Look at this guy. Back in the old OHL rinks, eh?
Yeah. But I remember talking to Steve a couple of times at the Mississauga rink when he came with the Bulldogs. And all I said was, hey, I was good friends with Sean Strutt and Greg Bond. And he's like, I know those two.
Yeah. He's like, okay, see you later. Gotta go.
Yeah. No, but he was a great guy. And he really brought respectability when that team moved from Belleville to Hamilton. He brought the respectability they needed. And, he said, I want to bring a Memorial. I want to get them in the Memorial Cup. And he did it twice. They didn't win. They came short. But still, they won 2 OHL titles, which is – I still think the Memorial Cup's the hardest trophy to win in hockey. You can argue with me all you want, but you got to think you got to go through 4 rounds of playoffs, just like the NHL guys do.
Yeah.
Then you got to go to a tournament and play 3 other teams that went through what you went through
and won the championship. Yeah.
I think it's a harder trophy to win than the Stanley Cup. I really do.
That's right.
But that's just my opinion. Anyone can argue that, but
for sure. Alan, you are a wonderful human being. I love your love of knowledge and knowledge of hockey and music is right up there with me, and that's why we're super pals. And I will forever love you, and I'm appreciative of you coming on tonight. I'm stoked to talk to Rick Campanelli next week to follow up our chat with the about the Much Music VJ thing was such a huge thing, dude, and I'm super excited to promote this and have you on to talk about it. And then Rick, but I highly recommend everybody go check you out on your YouTube channel. It's a wonderful thing. You've talked to some amazing artists already. It's the Canadian music, 80s and 90s and more. YouTube. It's Alan Dalton. It's a real treat to speak to you again. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Pleasure's here too, man. It's always great to talk to you. And here's to the next all-night jam session at Sean Strutt's next time I get to Ontario.
I look forward to it. Listen, you take care out there in PEI for this winter. I'm not sure how it's going to be out there, but it's always a little different out east. And one day I'm going to come and see you in the summer, not the winter, and we're going to do some golfing in PEI. And again, I love you, and thanks for joining me, pal.
Same here, man. Great to talk to you, as usual.
Yeah, take care. That's Alan Dalton, everybody. My golly gee, I really do. I do have a special spot in my heart for that guy. We have had some amazing jam sessions at our mutual said friend Sean Strutt's house. That's how I met him, and I will forever be his friend. That was pretty cool. I love his knowledge and love of music, and this whole I'm really excited for this whole Much Music VJ thing. The documentary looks amazing. I cannot wait to have Rick Campanelli on next week. I think you guys are going to love it. He's such a fun, loving, easygoing cat. And I think we're going to have a wonderful chat next week. So, yeah, everybody, the comments are pouring in. Good guy, awesome guy. Thank you. Yeah, I love it. Thank you, guys, for all the nice comments and words. Let's do a few videos before I get the hell out of here. I think I speak for everybody before I get to Dummies of the Week. Instead of using the term Jets, let's just replace the term Jets with Toronto Blue Jays tonight. And this sums up every Blue Jays fan on the entire planet tonight. Are you ready? Watch this.
When I was a kid, I was into the Jets. And then I got older and I got into girls. And then I got back into the Jets because I realized there's times when a girl won't fuck you, but the Jets will always fuck you. When I was a kid, I was into the Jets. And then I got older and I got into girls.
Or the Leafs.
And then I got back into the Jets because I realized there's times when a girl won't fuck you, but the Jets will always fuck you.
But the Leafs certainly will. That is 100% truth. Massive truth. You know what's truth? Sometimes people are just too stupid and don't get it. There are times in your life where you may not be in the best physical peak shape or probably be standing on the side of a cliff. I hate to shame people, but listen, you all put it out there on the interweb, and I'm here to make fun of you because I'm a fat roly-poly fuck too, but I'm probably a little more athletic than this one. Watch this. Yeah.
Hey, Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy is right. Listen, if you are going to commit, you gotta commit. Goddamn pant load. You cannot be messing about.
Hey, Lord have mercy.
And you are not an athlete. Lord have mercy is right. There's the buddy
Hey,
again.
Lord have mercy.
And that has to hurt, folks. It really does. One more time.
Hey, Lord have mercy.
You gotta just jump. You just gotta jump. Sorry, not sorry. Listener yelling. Okay. Now, there's Dummies of the Week, and there's really stupid Dummies of the Week. And then there's this guy. I don't even know how to explain it anymore, other than the fact that I would love to be this guy's facial surgeon because I'm going to make a mother load. Are you ready? Watch this maniac. Oh, good Christ. This just, you can just tell, you know where there's videos, folks? You can just tell it's not going to end well with Buddy standing on the roof. Well, guess what? This is one of those times where you guessed right. This motherfucker fucked around and found out the hard way. You ready? Watch this.
No problem.
Two hands up. No problem. I got this, bro. I got this. Superman and fail. Oh my God. I don't know what is going on in the conversation section there, but I can tell you that they were probably trying to talk him out of it, and guess what? He just didn't listen. Holy Christ above, that had to seriously hurt. That had to hurt. Hello, dentist? No, we don't need the dentist. Hello, doctor? No, we don't need the doctor. Hello, God? I just royally fucked up my entire face from top to bottom. Can you please help? Probably not, sir. You done fucked up, and see you later. You will pay the price and feel shame. Speaking of feeling shame, this guy went from one scooter directly. He's going to roll right into a motorized one because he's stupid. Ready? Watch this. And I'm going to play this stuff. Now, I did contemplate on whether to play this tonight because it is a little graphic. But why? But why? And you fail to obey the natural laws of looking both ways. And you're kind of like, do I feel shame for playing that after playing it? No, not really. Fuck that guy for being stupid. I mean, Dummies of the Week prevail. I do feel bad for this kid, this next video, because he was probably having a really good time out mucking about with his buddies, racing down the street, and just simply failed to see the stupid little gate that got in his way. But whoever made this video and put this at the end, pretending he's a linebacker on, the Monday Night Football, when they say, "Hi, I'm Bill Thomas from Iowa State. I play linebacker." Watch this. This is awesome.
Chain Link Fence Williams Jr. University better. Go
Chain Link Fence Williams Jr. One more time. Ready? Boom! That kid hit that goddamn fence at full tilty. And cried for mommy.
Jr. University better.
Whoever made that video, you win. You totally made me laugh, and I had to show you on my show tonight. Okay, I think I got... Will people stop messaging me while I'm live? Okay, I got two more, and I'm out of here. This is super funny. For all you smart car driving, gas saving, whatever, good for you, but this video still wins. Tesla wins over whatever you call these stupid little things, smart car videos. This could be fake. I don't even care. This is super funny. Watch this.
Look at these guys. Look at them like me. So what happens? Guy in the Tesla was waiting for the spot, and then dude in that little Matchbox car came and swooped the parking spot right. Yo!
It gets better, but he comes back and he's like,
crazy.
Look at
Buddy coming back. Here comes guy looking for his little shoebox.
I love Buddy commentating this video.
Oh, where's my little shoebox?
Where's my little thinking toy go? Watch this one more time.
Look at these guys. Look at them like me. So what happens? Guy in the Tesla was waiting for the spot, and then dude in that little Matchbox car came and swooped the parking spot right. Yo!
God, I love the interweb sometimes. I really, really do. You know, when you're just having those days and you meet that bitch at the grocery store. Oh, did I tell that story tonight? I don't even remember. We've gone through so much. I didn't tell the grocery store story, but I'll tell it next week because we'll just save it because it's time to get out of here. But I got it. I think the world's in trouble, folks, because shit like this is happening more and more. And I don't know what you've been reading or what you believe in and stuff, but this world is a pretty scary place we're living in. Watch this. I thought this was a wave.
Oh my God. They better get up. They're going to hit the power lines.
I swear to God. And I thought all those people from the tidal wave going to wash them all away. Guess what? Fucking bird. It's a bird.
Oh my God.
We are. There's something going on in this planet, and I don't know.
You have no idea.
We have no
That
idea.
ain't even. Oh,
Like, he is not even kidding, bro. Because that shit is. Look it. Oh no, I stopped it. Fuck it. That's it. That's all I got to say. We are an hour and 10 minutes into the show. We're 10 minutes over, but I think it was worth it. I think we had a pretty good time tonight. No? Huge shout out to Alan Dalton for joining us, talking about the Much Music video, the VJs. Back in the day, it was the greatest thing ever. And speaking of them, Rick Campanelli is going to join me next week. I really can't wait to talk to him. I lived legit vicariously through. So I got married at 23 years old, okay? And had a kid at 24 and no regrets, zero regrets. But I fucking wanted to be Rick Campanelli. I wanted to be a Much Music VJ so bad back in my early days. And now, just turns out I didn't need to be one. I'm still as cool as Rick Campanelli and just do my own stupid show. As Sarge said, Gregory Scott, you've got a stupid show, but I don't call it stupid anymore. And thank you, Gregory Scott, for not saying the F word as much tonight. I don't know why you've still got to say it at all, but I will let it slide. Thanks, Mom. I really appreciate you, and I love you so much for giving birth to me 50 years ago and having sex 51 years ago with my dad, Pops, because he's a good guy, and thanks for making me. Thank you for watching this stupid show. It's Bondzee Live, Trippin With Bondzee. I think we done did it. I talked about dead people. I talked to dead people on the weekend for the first time ever. Don't judge me. If you don't believe still after what I told you, that's okay. I'm not even mad at you. That's your own problem. I was a skeptic. I went and did it. I found out. And I found out it was pretty real because this lady said shit that nobody knows except me and Pat. So there's that. Explain that, Mr. Skeptics. Come at me. I dare you. Please email me, comment, whatever. I will answer. I want to know. Come on the show and talk about your experiences. Let's go. I'm super thankful for the experience I had this weekend. I really am. I'm super thankful I got to explain it all to you tonight without breaking down because it was super special. It 2009 changed my life on August 31st. And it changed my life for the worst for 14 years. And this weekend I got to let it go. And I'm super thankful for all of that. And I'm super thankful to get to share my story. And that's it. That's all. I love each and every one of you. Alan Dalton was a great guest. And Rick Campanelli's next week. And listen, have a great weekend. I hope whatever you're struggling with, just breathe and deal with it and talk to me. Call me. Text me. It's all private. I've helped change so many people's lives, and so many people have helped change my life for the better. And I'm super thankful for all of it. I think that's enough of the stupid show tonight. I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and you too, and I love me first and foremost. And I love Pat, and I love Warren. And I think we've said it all tonight, and we've had a great show. I'll take care. See you later. Adios. Bye. Oh, I got to play these guys first. Bye.
What was that?
That was very strange.
It was very weird.
Peculiar.
It was kind of amusing.
Yes, it was rather funny.
It was incredibly funny.
I loved it.
Hilarious.
I checked the line. Who's next to go? Yeah, who's next to go? I checked the line. Who's next to go?
Bondzee Live. Bondzee on YouTube.